right, guys. Welcome to episode 12 of Real McCoy Radio. It's been a bit of a break. We've had a pandemic since we've done this before. But hey, we're all still standing, and we're here, and we're socially distanced inside of a new studio. So we had to find some new digs post-pandemic. But yeah, it's good to be back, and excited to kind of restart Real McCoy Radio with guest Kaici Galvan. Kaici, welcome.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so Kaici is a friend of ours and a client of mine. As of recently, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
But we're a little more recent, have a trainer-client relationship.
Yep.
Fun fact, Kaici is from Robinson, Texas.
Yes, I am.
Hometown of my wife, Tana. So what's the chances that two blonde, badass bikini competitors come out of Robinson?
Crazy. I think Tana and I have known each other for, oh my gosh, over 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We go way back with family. So
I was just in Robinson for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for 4 days. So
this was my first Thanksgiving not at Robinson. So,
okay.
Yeah, we moved it here this year. Yeah.
We went to the local Golds, and then I didn't get to train there, but there's a new gym there called Train Waco.
I saw that on your stories.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool.
I'm definitely going to go there the next time we're there, Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks
I'll
pretty
be there
cool.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. I wanted to have Kaici on the show, really to talk about two basic things. So she just competed in September at the NPC Kuclo Classic, which was just 14 months after you had your first child.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah. It's quite the journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about kind of the nuts and bolts about how we went through that transformation, and kind of the strategy we used to get your body back. And she wasn't starting from scratch. You won an overall in 2016.
Yes.
Which was your first show or second?
Very first show, Vicky Gates.
First show out of the gates, and you won the whole thing.
Yes.
That's another thing you and Tana have in common.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I met Tana we tell our story in the episode with her. Oh, okay. But I met her at Dick's Last Resort, and I told her that she would be awesome at this new thing because it didn't really exist. And so we did the Lone Star Classic as her first show, and yeah, she won the whole thing too.
That's really cool.
You Robinson girls, come for blood.
Blonde bikinis,
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about, hopefully if you're listening today, you can pick out some training advice, some diet advice, and just information about competing and what it takes. And then, obviously a lot of people compete, but, I've really found, Kaici, you to be a special example, because you're a new mom. You do have a full-time profession, and your schedule was crazy.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Pure chaos.
I had a front row seat to Kaici's schedule, and I don't know how she did it. Even while I was watching, I'm like, I don't know how she's doing this. And so I would like to really like people to hear from you about what drives you and what motivates you and how you made all this happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to when I first got pregnant, and I was always one of those women that thought, man, I'm going to have a fit pregnancy. It's going to be great and easy. My comeback's going to be good because I've always been, a little bit on the thinner side. It's just my build. And so I thought, I'll just have a great pregnancy. I'll come back. I'll bounce back. And I told my husband probably 3 months postpartum or 3 months pregnant. I was like, I'm going to compete at the 1 year mark postpartum. I'm getting on stage.
You committed to this early?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that was I've always been a very goal-oriented person. And so I like to have a goal set out to work on, because if I don't have a goal, I feel like I tend to be inconsistent in the gym or with my diet. So I had this goal. I knew that I wanted to do it. And I think you just have so much in mind, when you first get pregnant, and then you experience the real deal, and it kind of knocks you off your feet a little bit.
It's a little different than you had in your pictured in your mind.
Totally different. I think my postpartum journey was totally different than I expected. Like I didn't bounce back like I thought my body would. I just remember starting from scratch and being really overwhelmed and in the midst of working a full-time job and a tiny baby and letting your body heal. And it's almost like you feel like you've never worked out before because your body just totally changed.
Yeah.
So you have to earn it all back and gain your strength back and then move forward.
Did you ever feel like, so when you're kind of like, oh, wow, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, this is harder than I thought, did you ever question your goal?
Oh my gosh, so many times. I think there's so many times I wanted to quit because you're so exhausted. In your first year of like motherhood, you're tired. Especially because my kid's kind of broken and doesn't like to sleep.
Let's talk about the schedule just for a minute. So like, you can talk about kind of your work schedule because that's not an easy one either. And then your schedule as a mom. And then, I know you were working out at odd times of the morning and day and running in for posing session. You're always in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about the schedule.
In the gym, I was in a hurry. I think my schedule kind of fluctuated throughout prep the more tired I got.
Yeah.
But I think starting out, I had to learn to be organized. I work like a full-time job, like usually 8 to 5. But my kiddo gets up early. My husband works a full-time job. So it was either workout at 5 a.m. or workout after he goes to bed at 7:30. There was really a hard mix. Sometimes I got an afternoon in if I could leave work early, but for the most part, it was super early or super late. And I'm a super early is better just to go ahead and get it over with.
Sure.
And so I think my schedule just had to be aligned with making sure that I put my family at the forefront, but also still executed the plan that you gave me.
Yeah.
But I think I'm very type A. Once you give me a plan, I'm going to make it work. It's just all about fitting it in my schedule.
Yeah. So let me read this post that you made, for everybody. You said, I'm convinced becoming a mother makes you 100 times stronger. Mentally, physically, spiritually, becoming a mom didn't give me an excuse to quit. It gave me a reason to fight harder. I've got a little boy watching my every move. I'll be damned if I don't lead by example.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that post is pretty much sums up how I felt going into motherhood. I knew I wanted to be this strong mom that he saw. Yeah. And I had hobbies before my kid, and I never want that to change just because I had one.
Yeah. I
want him to see that you can still enjoy yourself and have you time, because I think a lot of women lose themselves after having a baby. Yeah. I think it's priority to, sacrifice a little bit to have a body you're self-confident in.
Yeah.
And that was my main goal. If that meant sacrificing a couple more hours of sleep to feel comfortable in a bikini or hit my goal of competing, that's what I was going to do.
That, I was going to wait on this one, but that segues to the next post of yours I wanted to read out, because I think exactly what you just said is huge. You said, think of your workouts as important meetings you've scheduled with yourself. Bosses don't cancel.
That's exactly it. I think my husband used to say all the time, especially during prep, like, I don't know how you do this. Like, you're making meals after he goes to bed. You're up at the break of dawn working out. Like, how do you do all this? And I told him, I was like, well, I have like a goal. Like, once I have a goal in mind, I'm just one of those people. I'm going to do it. And I'll be damned if it's a half-ass journey. Yeah. Like, I want it to be if I'm going to work that hard, be that hungry, because I'm an eater. Like, I love food. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that it happens. So I always show up, and I'm one of those that, like, if I'm in the gym, I've got my headphones in, it's time to go. Let's execute the plan. Let's hit that workout. It's just a matter of getting there. But as long as I stay organized in my schedule, good to go. Yeah. So preparation is big for you. Yes. Especially when you have a kid, because anything can happen. So it's just kind of like when you show up to get kid from school with snacks, you got to have your food ready too. Yeah. Because it's just one of those things, you're rolling and going all the time. I'd rather have all my meals ready to go that day or the night before, so that way there's no reason for me to mess up. Yeah. And I found, having trained so many clients, the clients that treat it like that, the success rate's far higher. Yes. You have to prepare. And you have to have plan A and plan B, which sounds like, rang true for you. Yeah, for sure. And so, but the motivation side of this, so you didn't, you took this circumstance of being a new mom and really turned it into a why, which I encourage clients when
when the going gets tough, you have to remember why you're doing this.
Yes.
Because, the surface level stuff isn't going to make you do it. When it gets hard, and it gets hard. It's hard when you have an easy life schedule. For professional competitors that this is their job, it's difficult still to compete. Add on being a new mom, add on full-time jobs for both you and Caesar. It's hard. So you have to have that strong why. Yeah. And it sounds like you have a couple of those, but you made one of those that I want to set example for my son.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a big motivator for me.
Yeah.
I also think I'm always going to have motivation from knowing that I'm doing this to be like a strong, healthy person for my son. But I think there's a lot of days where like I'm just not motivated to go to the gym, or I just don't want to do it. But it's kind of where that consistency of discipline overrides the motivation.
That's a great point.
I think that a lot of women struggle with that because it's very hard to like stay consistent in the gym. I think women are expected to hold the fort down at home.
Yeah.
And so you can fall off really easily. I think the biggest thing for me was making sure I'm disciplined. I'm doing this. This is my plan. This is what time I'm working out. This is what meal I'm eating. It's got to be done type of mindset.
That's a great point. And so the episode before you was a client of mine, Yuri, that lost 100 pounds.
Oh yeah, I
know
him.
Yeah, you know Yuri, and he brought up the point that motivation isn't enough. Like everyone makes too big of a deal out of motivation because no matter all the people that have driven felt demotivated at some time and they kept going.
Yeah.
So what you're saying that even you that accomplished this big physical transformation in less than a year, there were days you didn't want to do what you needed to do, but that's where you're relying on discipline. And you're relying on, your commitment, I think, that you made to yourself. Sounds like in the middle of your pregnancy.
Yeah.
So discipline and commitment, I guess, is a better word than motivation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So you got to commit to the goal. Have a goal.
Have a goal, for sure.
If I can kind of summarize Kaici's advice here. Have a goal.
Have a goal.
Commit. And be prepared and stay disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. It's never going to be easy. I don't think any fitness journey is easy. It's just how much do you want it that you're willing to sacrifice for it.
So I will say you're a super coachable client.
Thanks.
You didn't ask, of course you had questions, but you never questioned necessarily the process. So I kind of hit you with a strategy that I've used with a lot of clients, and I usually get negative pushback on it, which was when we first started, I pretty much put you on almost a powerlifting split.
I loved it.
Okay.
Loved all the food and all the heavy weights. That's my type of lifting right there.
Yeah. But a lot of girls get uneasy with that because I'm like, hey, we're only going to train 3 days a week and you're going to have to eat a lot. And I want you to try to get really strong. And that's like, what? You mean I have to rest and I can't do as much cardio? But it was hugely successful for you.
Yeah, I loved it. I made huge strength gains in the first few weeks with you.
Yeah.
I was well fed. I felt great in the gym. I think that's why my strength kept going up because I just was really well fed. Yeah. I think the first few weeks, I was actually shocked because my whole postpartum journey, I was like, still can't lift this weight. You gotta be shitting me. I was so frustrated. And then you consistently see the numbers going up after I started working with you. And I was like, oh, this guy's he knows what he's doing. I'm just going to trust the whole process. Yeah. And it worked so good for you. You were getting stronger week in and week out, and you responded very well to a challenge. I know I said several times, I'd like to see this lift higher or whatever. Yeah. And you always committed to that. Sorry, skirt. Sorry, that's all right. Hey, Mom, she's never off duty. I forgot to set an alarm. So you, we're making these strength gains week after week, and the nudge to, hey, let's get stronger, you responded well to that. Yeah, I like a little push, hey, why don't you quit being a wuss and put some more weight on the freaking bar? Yeah, it helps. It's good to be called out on being crappy sometimes. No, but I think you just needed to realize, realize your strength. Yeah. And you started to realize, what you're capable of. And those strength gains, and we talked about this, but those strength gains really helped you. You're naturally a thin person, and if you guys want, I wrote a case study
on Kaici. It's on the Hidden Gym blog, hiddengym.net, in the blog section. And there's some more details in here about what all we did. But you're naturally an ectomorph. You can put on muscle, so you have a little bit of that mesomorph in you. But, for you, we really needed to get you strong. For you to start a diet, like we could have lost you. Like you could have ended up skinny.
I can see that.
Skinny and soft would have been like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So that commitment to strength training really paid off as we went through the whole process.
I think that's why I held so much fullness like throughout prep. I really expected to lose like a lot of glutes toward the end, but we really did hold on to a ton of muscle.
Yeah.
I saw massive change just from gaining muscle throughout the prep, which was really cool to be a deficit like that. Yeah,
I think you gained muscle, and then you were able to keep your strength up. The way that we didn't have to overdo it on the cardio.
That was really nice. Minimal cardio, I felt like.
Yeah. We didn't have to overdo it on the cardio. So, you're able to come in fuller and have a really good look on your comeback.
I agree.
Yeah. So
I loved the look. I was a little disappointed with the placing.
Yeah, we ended up 5th, right? 5th, which to me was kind of a strategy issue more than like, I think we accomplished the look we were both going for.
I agree.
But it wasn't the look that the judges wanted.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating.
Sometimes that just happens. That's bikini.
Yeah. Bikini, for those of you guys that might be interested in competing or have competed before, is, to me, the way I describe it to clients is like, let's set 5 people down and say, which of these cars looks the fastest?
Yeah, it is really subjective.
Yeah, it's not a race. Like there is no who gets there first. It's a preference.
Yeah.
And the judges preferred a leaner look that day over what I felt like we had an advantage on symmetry and size and balance, etc.
But I will try again.
Yeah.
A different show, and we never know. It's better.
That's the sport. That's what we signed up for.
Yes.
We made the best version of you, and we took it to the show. And you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
That's so true. It was also really good to kind of be on the other end, even though it was a sucky feeling to go from like winning a show to hitting 5th place, to kind of like see like, okay, you're not going to win every show. There's going to be a different journey with every prep to know. But I will say like the mindset gets stronger every prep.
Yeah.
You learn new things, you learn more about your body, and I think that's really the exciting thing. I'm one of those people that I do enjoy the prep, not just show day and getting glammed.
Yeah.
So it is nice to see the different side. And working with you was totally different than my last prep, so it was nice to see that I don't have to be super hungry, or there's just different approaches. Sure. I think that was really nice this prep.
Yeah, of course. And I love that about that as a competitor myself. When you work with different coaches and try different styles, you learn something from all of them.
Yes.
Because there's no right way to do this. There's different ways to do it. Yeah. Kind of as you said. Yeah. So, what from prep 1 to prep 2, what are some of the takeaways that you had that, you'll take into prep 3?
I think, organization was a huge learning factor in prep 1. I think time management was prep 2 for me, because there were so many different things on my plate this time.
Yeah.
I loved getting to like know that my body doesn't need an hour on the Stairmaster every day and just to make myself lean. That was really nice this prep to see the difference, and I felt like I didn't have to work as hard to get the physique that we brought.
Sure.
And I felt like I put so much more muscle on working with you in a few weeks than I had done in the 5 months of postpartum that I did by myself.
Yeah. So
it was really nice to see the different perspective of coaching and food and the different approach in workouts.
Sure.
And how my body reacted to it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's talk about the timeline for a second. We actually haven't touched on that. So I think we started working together about 10 months after your pregnancy.
Yes.
And we were on stage 14 months after. Is that right?
Yes.
So how, talk about that timeline a little bit.
So I think like about 10, are you talking about like from
Just,
10 to 14?
you know, like, was that fast? I've never been pregnant before, so it seems to me like that's fast.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you would have asked me at 6 months postpartum that I'd be on stage at 14 months, I would have said, hell no.
You're an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, there's no fucking way. But I think at like the 5-6 month mark, I was like, okay, I'm clearly not bouncing back. And then I think I started tracking my macros around 6 months postpartum up until the 10-month mark that I hit with you.
Yeah.
And I think when I came to you, I was at like 1675 calories.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good. I've always liked carbs. But when I came to you at 10 months, I was still really weak. I mean, I just didn't have the muscle I had before I got pregnant. It's just a totally different game, like earning it back. But I will say, I think I had a little bit more of an advantage that I had that muscle memory to earn it back and know what I'm doing in the gym. And even like you write the plan, but I technically, like, I've done it before a little bit. So I knew it was easy, but your plan was very, I don't know, the guiding of the app and everything made it easier.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
I think the 10-month mark of starting with you and working out, I felt like I felt good to like lift weight and actually like be moving weight in the gym for once, because I think when you don't have a coach, you don't really push yourself as much. Yeah. But you know, you have to show up and be in front of somebody. So you're like, I should probably get my shit together. Like, it's probably time.
I love, one thing I love about the app, I like to hear your feedback on that, because, you know, especially for you, we were really focused on gaining strength. Yeah. Which meant we want to go to war with the numbers week in and week out. So you knew your numbers. Yeah. You know, we changed the training program every 4 weeks. So we had enough time that you were, you know, doing the same routine and could try to beat your numbers. And then it was fun for me to watch, you know, is she beating it or not?
Yeah, I was like, you got a new PR.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you like the badges at the end? Yeah.
You're like so excited that you hit something. I don't know.
Yeah, you were posting those the whole time.
I love that.
Yeah,
or like
cool.
You see it in the app, like what you've hit before. So you're like, okay, if I just do this, I can move up to this on my last set so that you know you're going to hit a PR. It's just kind of nice to have that guidance there.
Yeah, and it's objective. Like, I got stronger. Yeah. There's no guessing. Yeah. Yeah. So,
it makes you push yourself more.
Yeah, I think that was awesome. Cool. So, you know, prep one was, you know, you really can't prepare someone for how to prep until they do it. Like, you can try.
You have no idea. Yeah. It's like a whole another level.
But you really learned, you know, what it took and the preparation involved, which gave you an advantage in prep two. Yes. And then it seems like time management, which let's talk about time management for competitors a little bit, because that is something that everyone struggles with. How do you kind of navigate that? I
think time management for me has always been organization. I'm kind of one of those people that likes to be a go with the flow. But when you have a kid and a husband and a full-time job, like, you can't just go with the flow. So you got to know, okay, like, when am I going to pack my meals? When am I going to prep my food for those meals? When am I going to work out? And so, like, I think every Sunday, me and my husband would sit down and say, okay, what's your work week like? Okay, this is what mine's like. Okay, what is aligning? What is not? So I know, okay, who's getting kid to school? Who's picking up? Those type of things. We had like a full-blown schedule out. It sounded crazy, but it really worked for us, because when you're in prep, you're just so committed. There's an end goal, and you know that you have things to finish. And so it's just one of those things where you have to write it down, get it done. And I'm thankful that I have a spouse that's super supportive. I was about to say, let's give Caesar a shout out right now. Yes, he is such a trooper, because Hangry Casey, Pirate Casey is another level. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, I've never seen that side. He was really great, super helpful with crews, and he like totally understood. I mean, if I was up and leaving the house at 4:30 to head to the gym, he was like, okay, go ahead, you know, I got this. It's a little entertaining for me too, because you were always commenting on what time in the morning you sent in your fasted progress photos. Yes. And usually I think he was the one taking them, so that's a little glimpse. I was getting a little glimpse into Caesar's support role. Yeah, poor guy. He woke up with the break of dawn with me, but he was a trooper. Yeah, most of the time he could go back to sleep, so it's pretty good. No, but that's something, and that's usually something I ask in you know, when I'm talking with a new client is, are your families and friends supportive of this? Yeah. Because how hard would this be if they weren't? Oh my gosh, so hard. And even just going to a social event, like when you're prepping, I feel like when you're in off seasons, it's easier. You can have a cheat meal, or you can be a little bit more lenient with your macros. But in prep, it's just such a committed diet plan that you have that going to social events or even like family dinners, little things that you have to say, okay, well, my kid's eating mac and cheese, but I need to be eating, my chicken and rice or whatever. Yeah. It's the little things that I think a lot of people don't realize. People just see these like glamorous results on Instagram without knowing truly what went behind the scenes. And so I think that's important to put out there, because I get messages all the time like, how did you get your body back after baby? Nobody knows like the work you put in behind the scenes. It's not all just glamour on Instagram or things
and
like that.
I think that's really, I would say, speaking as myself as a competitor, and seeing, obviously coaching clients, the sacrifice is often, it's made the whole family makes it like everyone has to be on board that, hey, I'm not going to eat cake for your birthday. And I'm going to go home early at this social event because I'm tired and I have to do cardio in the morning.
That's exactly what that is. We're going to call it an early night.
Yep. But it takes alignment, like, with you and your spouse, to make sure they have your back through that commitment.
Yeah. And I think he's always been one of those that, like, he's like, okay, what do you need me to do? What can I help with? Because he's one of those, like, it's not just you prepping, we're prepping. Like, we're here to win this shit. So let's get it together.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.
And he came with you to several of our check-ins.
He did.
And you had concerns, we had a few rough
Water
weeks.
Retention, stress.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. You hit a rough patch.
I did.
Probably 3 weeks out. We made we were making crazy progress. Like, you were really coming in on schedule. We were both happy with where we were at. And then kind of shit hit the fan at work. And your stress levels.
Sick kid, I think.
Yeah, you were doing doctor's visits. I don't know. You didn't elaborate to me, but you were obviously stressed. When I saw you in the gym, you visibly stressed, and you were telling me, like, I had some comments from I don't think I printed them actually, from our Trainerize app actually.
Oh yeah. I remember I did. There's one day I was like, my kid is so sick. There's no way I'm getting in, but I'm going to figure out how to make it up later in the week.
Yeah. But so you hit that rough patch, and I don't know if you were contemplating not doing it or not, but your body kind of stopped responding, at least visibly. I still think the progress was happening, but you had a layer of stress water over you.
I think I panicked for a few days. I even messaged you like, is this normal? I think my weight went up a little bit too.
Yeah, it did. It stayed
didn't
up.
want to budge for a long time.
But you were getting leaner. And we didn't knee-jerk reaction to cutting calories or bumping the cardio, which thankfully, I think that worked out. But I know Caesar came with you to that check-in, I think probably for, to make sure you had the mental sanity there.
I agree. I think you wanted to be supportive, but also hear like your feedback as a coach of like, okay, where are we at? What do we need to change? Because I feel like he's like, okay, let's go team. Let's do this.
Yeah, sure. And he's no stranger to the sport. So that's always helpful too, when your spouse understands what's going on.
I agree. I do think the stress of work and there was a huge shift at work. It was just a lot going on at work. And I could tell it definitely, when you're mentally not there in prep, it really takes a toll even on your workouts, not just your physical appearance, but it can really put a damper. I think there's a couple workouts where I was just kind of pissed off. Like, I didn't want to be there. You're just there to finish it, put in your numbers and get done. Yeah. And then I think after that meeting with you, Caesar's like, you've put so much time and effort into this. Like, I'll be damned if you're going to like half-ass it for the last 4 weeks. Like, just go. Like, you've done it already. You know that you can work. You know that you can be a mom and still do this. So let's finish this. Yeah. I think that was a really good push for me to like say, okay, let's keep going.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And you kind of had the stress lifted towards the end, which was nice.
Yeah, it was. Peak week was a breeze compared to the other 3.
Yeah, sure. But you had that tough time there at the end. So, that's awesome. Anything you would like to pass on to maybe doesn't necessarily have to be a mom, someone that's thinking about either competing or going through a physical transformation, or even the mom that has seen you change your body in basically a year to go from, pregnant to stage ready, trophy winning physique?
I think for me, I think this just goes for any woman, not just a mom, is if you want to be confident in your body, it's going to take sacrifice.
Yep.
Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, if I just do this diet and I just do this cardio, like it's going to be the winner for me. But I think it's more so of a mental discipline of saying every day in and day out. And of course, you can still have your cheat meals or your time with your family and still get results, but it's just that consistent discipline of that you're going to get the body you want.
Yeah.
But I think that's just a daily choice that every person has to make. Do I want to feel comfortable in my body and be happy with myself, or do I want to just keep going day by day?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how I've lived, especially postpartum. There's so many days where I don't want to do things, but it's okay, let's get this done.
Yeah. That's when you rely on the discipline and
Yes.
the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so I hope you guys take those words of wisdom. Kaici has done an excellent job, and I know from a coach watching it, I was impressed with the grit and the determination that you showed. And then obviously as an athlete, you have a lot of talent, and if you want to pursue competing, I think you can take it a long ways.
I would love to.
Yeah, so you'll be seeing more of Kaici Galvan on stage. I don't doubt it.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks, Kaici, for coming on. Is there your Instagram? I think is private.
Oh yeah.
I would say follow you, but you creepy guys don't follow Kaici.
No creepers, please.
Yeah,
guys,
you won't get past the request form, I promise.
I need to put it public. I don't know why I have it private. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to follow Kaici, it's Kaici, Kici Galvan. On Instagram. I assume you're on Facebook as well.
Yes.
Again, I posted a blog, kind of a case study on this prep on the Hidden Gym blog, hiddengym.net, in the blog section. And we'll put links in the comments as well for the blog posts and and resources for you guys. So other than that, I think we are out. Real McCoy Radio, episode 12 in the books. Thank you, Scott. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.